we are Spin. I'm not sure how much you know about us. We are a design studio creating identities, animations, environmental graphics, and design for print. We are based in Clapham Junction now. We actually just moved from a conventional studio space into a house. We converted a complete ground floor into a studio where we now have a workshop, a photography studio, a library/meeting room, and a kitchen. And also this ready-built kit studio in the garden. It just took about 4 days to erect. So this is how it looks now. And we had the pleasure to have design legend Lance Wyman over. Unfortunately, you can't really see him here, but he opened the studio officially for us in a little ceremony. There was a ribbon cut, so that's that.
You had to be there, really.
So with the new studio also comes a vegetable and herb garden where we can grow sage, mint, courgettes, horseradish, and all sorts of things. And we try to use as often as we can the ingredients for the garden to cook. So these courgettes were the first things we were able to harvest. And now every Friday, someone of us takes over the kitchen and cooks for the whole team.
Good old fantastic stuff, man. What is he doing?
So this is the outcome of our first attempt, which is a range of different courgette dishes, including courgette martinis, which were actually really delicious.
We just thought we'd introduce the team to you, a new team, some are younger than others. We've Eddie, my God. Edie, just joined us recently, she's studio manager. And then we have Gabby, who's the graphic designer. And Jonathan, the maker of martinis a la courgette, who's also here as a designer. Trish is the person who makes sure that we don't lose money. And Tony, designer, and our new partner, Claudia, who's just become a partner of Spin.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I just want to show you some of our recent work. We have a long-time collaboration with the University for the Creative Arts. We created an evolving identity, which we worked on over the last 3 years. So here is some of our latest outcomes. This is this year's prospectus covers and some inside spreads. And we also had the chance to create some super graphics for their campuses. The next project is also an identity job. We were asked by the Samsung Fashion Design Fund to create a visual language for their annual fashion awards show. The competition is split in 2 sections. So one is for professionals only, which is in uppercase letters, and one is a student competition, which is in lowercase letters. So this is how the visual language manifests itself on the website. So for the student competition, we came up with a vibrant color scheme, which is applied like that.
So as Claudia mentioned, we also do a lot of work for Unit Editions. I'm a founding partner of Unit Editions. And we thought we'd announce a couple of new books tonight. One that's at the printers at the moment, which we've been working with Rick Poyner on, which is National Theatre posters, which should be available fairly soon, we hope. And one on Letraset, the DIY typography revolution, which is a really fascinating story. It's more than just rub downs, it's got a whole world behind it.
So something we always enjoyed doing is making new letter forms and experiment with them. So just want to show you some of our latest efforts. We were asked to contribute a poster to an exhibition which celebrated the 60th anniversary of Helvetica. So we were interested in using the letter forms and creating something that isn't in this typical austere Helvetica aesthetic. So these are some process shots of how we approached it. We looked at some compositions, how this could work, and also some colors, which led us finally to our poster, which we submitted in the end. The next project is Spin Adventures in Typography, which is essentially the first issue of a Spin magazine. It's the extension of our monograph, if you want so. It's a collection of various visual outcomes which were explored during different client projects during the process, and we started to remix and rearrange those outcomes and also looked at some other visual avenues we were interested in exploring. So here are some examples of that. And we also like to take these visuals onto a screen-based environment. And in this case, we turned them into moving images. The second issue should come out soon, so that's something we are currently working on. And yeah, up to you again.
So we always like a challenge, and this was certainly one of those. This project was certainly one of those. It was a Parisian-based publisher called us out of the blue and said they were setting up a company and would we like to design the identity and also the first book. So the name of the company was Corpse Reviver. And a corpse reviver is basically a cocktail which saves your ass the next day when you've woken up horribly hungover, and it's supposed to revive you. And what struck us really was how miserable a letter, a V is, so downward looking and depressed. And so perhaps by turning it upside down, we could get more in the spirit, if you pardon the pun. So, we always like to extend the visual language of anything we do. So the upside down V, double Vs appear on the book spines and what have you, and we tend to make patterns and play around with them. Like this, you can't have enough Corpse Reviver. I can tell you that from experience. So this was identity, and then this is the book. So it was first published in 1927, and it basically takes you on a journey of 24 hours drinking. It's this uncle taking his niece out for a first experience of drinking, one that she'll never forget, I guess. And what it does is it's constructed hour by hour over 24 hours what you should drink and what you should eat at any given time. And it ends with basically a cocktail which is pretty much toothpaste with water and a shower and then bed. So it's quite a read. But you might have noticed when we were flicking through that there were illustrations involved, and it seemed like if we were going to make a contemporary version of it, that illustration should be something that we looked at, and that's something that we'd never done before. So we tried to conjure up the kind of spirit of drinking now, to kind of contrast with the contemporary typography. We also use a lot of coloured paper stocks, and they were really to suggest the passage of time as you go through the book. The cover is basically at the bottom of an ink bottle, so with serrated edges around it. So that suggests you putting down a glass and leaving a mark, but also suggests the passage of time as well, with second hands. And then this is just some examples of page layouts. I don't know if big splodges really count as illustration, but there are people here that I'm sure can tell us. But you get the idea. But it was a fun project. And if getting hammered's your thing, it's a good book to have. All right, lovely. That's us. Thank you very much. Thank you.